We all know Giuliana Rancic as the host of E! News and the ruler of red carpets, but now she's joining forces with husband and entrepreneur BUILD Brunch to tackle cancer care. The two are partnering with Astellas for its C3 Prize, a global challenge designed to inspire innovative non-treatment ideas to improve the lives of cancer patients, caregivers, and their loved ones. Let's take a look.
Hey guys.
Thank you.
I just wanted to take a second to say thank you all for coming. And when Astellas asked my wife Giuliana and I to partner with the C3 Prize, we instantly said yes. We knew this was something we had to be a part of. You see, my wife was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2003, and we battled this together. And we learned firsthand the real-world challenges and obstacles that come with this horrible disease. Now, as an entrepreneur, I see tremendous opportunity for innovation and impactful solutions to help people battle this disease. So I'm truly honored and privileged to be here. I'm excited to hear from the winners and learn a little bit more about their incredible ideas. And I'm honored to be on this distinguished panel. So thank you all for coming.
Everyone, please give a warm BUILD Brunch welcome to Bill and Giuliana Rancic.
Thank you.
We are so excited to have you both here.
Thank
Big
you.
fans of both of you. Giuliana, I want to start with you.
Yeah.
You have been cancer-free for 7 years.
I have.
Give
Almost
me
7
applause.
years. Yes, thank you, yeah.
How does that feel, just looking back on the journey you've been on?
It feels incredible. I mean, you know, when you're going through it, it's really hard to see the end of it. You know, it's hard to see. When people tell you, you're going to get through this, you found cancer early, you're going to be okay, it's just hard to start picturing a life without thinking about cancer all the time and letting it consume you. And I really realized it was around the 5-year mark where I kind of just tried to let it go as much as I ever had before and just really try to move on with my life. And so going into now my 7th year, it's just remarkable, you know, and I'm very, very blessed and, you know, just so happy that I'm healthy.
Thank God.
Yes.
Yeah, thank God, yeah.
And I love that you said that cancer care is more than just medicine. What do you mean by that?
It is definitely more than medicine. I mean, when I was going through cancer, you know, you hear the doctors give you the information they need to give you. But at the same time, when you leave the office, it's like, what now? And I think, you know, so much of it was having Bill in my life as a caregiver and also just having that incredible support system and those resources to just get through the day and go from day to day. And I just needed, you know, certain words of advice and just certain things in my life that I leaned on that just helped me move on from day to day, you know?
And Bill, I think what's what you guys are doing, you guys often talk about the role of the caregiver, which isn't often talked about in people's cancer journeys. So Bill, what's your journey been like through the past 7 years?
Well, you know, I think the caregiver has to wear a lot of different hats. You know, you become a short order cook and a comedian, and I was a male nurse. She was calling me Greg Fokker for a long time.
Meet the parents.
Yeah, meet the parents.
Yeah.
But I think the most important role, and with this being, you know, Breast Cancer Awareness Month, I think the most important role a caregiver can play is helping the patient make decisions based on knowledge rather than decisions based on emotion. And when you're going through that situation, you're almost in sensory overload because you can't believe what's happening. Things are happening at such a fast rate. The caregiver really kind of helps slow the pace down, process all the information, and make sure that the patient is armed with the tools to make the right decisions.
It's so true. Like, I have to say, you know, there were so many days and especially nights where you wake up in the middle of the night and you're just a wreck, you know, and emotional, and you just, it's an awful thing to go through, especially, you know, I was 36 years old, diagnosed with breast cancer with no family history and very healthy. So it was a shock of a lifetime and something I never saw coming. Like, one day I was on my way to work, you know, like to the red carpet, and the next day I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And, you know, it's just such a difficult time, and especially like navigating that time when I never expected it to happen to me, especially at such a young age, was so hard. And having Bill there to help me, and as Bill said, take the emotion out of decisions was so important, because everything I was doing was based on emotion. Like, so the doctor would say something and I'd be like, no, like, I can't do that, you know, and Bill would be like, okay, let's go home and let's talk about this. Something great that Bill did too was take me out of settings that were medical or very heavy all the time. So like, instead of like, let's go home and sit on our sofa and have that deep conversation, it was like, you know what, let's go get dinner, and over dessert we can chat about this. And it was just like on a hike. We used to make a lot of our decisions on a hike. So trying to get out of that setting, that like scary setting of being at a doctor's office or whatever it was really helpful.
And I think putting things on paper, because you often catastrophize things in your mind.
Right.
Your mind can be very damaging when you're just constantly feeding the anxiety of what you're going through. So, I broke out my old legal pad, and we'd write things down. It's the way my
Yellow
dad
one?
did it, right?
Yeah,
The yellow legal pad. And when you read it back, 9 times out of 10, it's never nearly as bad as the scenario played out in your mind.
Right. Just don't Google it.
Yeah, oh my God, the worst thing you can do.
No WebMD.
Holy
And
Toledo.
you guys have a new partnership with Stellas with the C3 Prize.
Yes.
It's so interesting. I've never heard of it before. Can you
Yeah.
tell our audience what that is?
Well, the C3, it's changing cancer care, and really it was, I just got back from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, and Astellas is trying to reach out to innovators and entrepreneurs to find non-treatment ideas to help change cancer care. And we had over 70 submissions from all over the world, countries, you name it. And we were at the World Cancer Congress about 3 weeks ago. I flew to Malaysia, and the 3 finalists presented. I was a judge.
Wow.
It was not an easy job because everyone had these incredible ideas to help the whole process of cancer. Ultimately, there was one winner, and she had a great idea. She's creating a digital series with celebrities from Africa, and they're going to help educate people about cancer and breast cancer because there's so many myths in these smaller regions of Africa where they don't have access to the information they need. And she's creating these digital series that are going to change lives forever. She won $50,000. It's going to fund her whole program for 2 years, which is amazing.
That's
So-
It is incredible.
Juliana, you mentioned how surprised you were when you were 36 and you were diagnosed.
Yeah.
What do you wish someone would have told you before that time?
I think the big thing that I remember happening all the time was I thought that like, okay, I have all the questions ready to go that I'm gonna ask my doctor at today's visit. And like all you do is like count down the minutes to your doctor's appointment. You're like excited to, because you wanna ask all these questions and figure out like, what are you doing and what's your next path, step, and what do the next 6 months and year look like? So I'd have all these questions in my head, and now I do this for a living. I'm a reporter, I'm a journalist, I do it. We all do the same thing, and so it's like it's funny because even on red carpets, like I don't prepare questions really. Like because I'm a fan,
Right.
so I watch all year, so I'm always kind of prepared to begin with. But it's funny because on a red carpet, like you're there, you're having a fun conversation, everything's great. But at the doctor's office,
your legal pad
I would I wouldn't do that. So I would go in, and I'm like, oh yeah, no, I do this for a living. I've got all my questions ready. And the second he'd be like, do you have any questions? I'm like, I think I'm good, And I'm like, wait, I know I had a million questions. And I'm like, I know I have questions, but could I call you later, And I'd walk out, and I would just be like, I cannot believe I didn't ask that one question that my, other medical professional had told me to ask, and like it was just so. I was just very, regretting that. So I think one thing for sure is, as Bill said, I love it. He calls it his 99-cent solution, which is that legal pad.
It might be $1.20 now. I don't know. Inflation,
The price went up. So really just writing down those questions and realizing that, breast cancer is not one type. If my type of cancer was not the same as the next woman's cancer, and so it's very, very different from woman to woman, and so therefore the treatment plan is very, very different. So you really want to ask specific questions about your cancer so you can come up with the best treatment plan, of course with your medical professional, but to come up with the best plan for you,
And don't be afraid to get more than one opinion, because you know what, we found that with multiple doctors, there were multiple interpretations of what was going on. So, I think it's okay to get a second opinion and sometimes a third opinion so you can make the right decision.
And just one other thing, because I know so many young people are watching right now, and you all are young too, which is awesome. What I just wanted to say is that...
I feel like an old man.
I'm like, you're not old.
I'm 45.
No, you're not.
No,
I was like, no, you're not.
She looks great.
I was like, are you joking right now?
Are you saying 45 is old?
Doing career.
No, I just added some years.
Wait a second.
You're old as dirt. What?
I maybe should have shot a little higher.
There we go.
I see what I did there. That's fine.
But I have to say, you know, I have this incredible platform to reach so many young women with the type of job I have. And so maybe one thing too was the self-exams. I mean, I was pretty good about it, but really being proactive about your health, doing those self-exams every month. Since I've been diagnosed and went public, I meet so many women who share their story with me. And they share how they found their cancer. And it's incredible the amount of women who find it themselves, like through just feeling themselves, and a breast exam, as opposed to, of course, mammograms as well. But so many of your viewers, for instance, are under 40. So a lot of people say to me, you know, I'm 28, and I know someone in her 20s diagnosed. What can I do? Because I'm too young to get a mammogram. And so I cannot tell you, stress the importance of those self-exams. So many women, especially young women, find their cancer themselves. And it's really just like doing it every month, feeling around, and then that way you know your body so that, God forbid, one day there is a change, you're like, you're on it that month.
Can you get a mammogram when you're 30? Is that like a rule that you can't?
It depends also on family history and that sort of thing. So it's really something that you know, you could talk to your doctor about. Typically, the suggested
risk-averse person.
The recommendation's 40 and above. But absolutely, I mean, I think for every woman, it doesn't matter how old you are. You can be very, you know, 18, 19, college-age students. Just going in to your doctor, letting them know if there is a family history. That way, you can come up with some sort of a plan, and your doctor can say to you, okay, maybe at this age we should start doing this or that. But you have to be proactive about your health. I mean, we're all so busy with our lives. We have so much going on. And I always say, like, you know, you share information with your friends about like the hottest trends or what's new in music or whatever it is. But to be able to share information too, like about, hey, by the way, have you done a self-exam this month? Like do it as a friend. Tell your friends to do it too, and just remind each other.
Could be like a girls' night out.
There we go. You know what I mean?
In other news, you returned to E, and we're so thrilled to see you there. Are you excited to be back?
I'm loving it. It's so wonderful. I mean, I've worked at E a long time, you know, so 16 years, since 2002. It's been an incredible ride. You know, when I started there, I was kind of the new reporter on the block, and then to just have been there all these years.
There's nobody better on the red carpet. Would you guys agree?
She's the rule of the red carpet. We named her the rule of the red carpet.
Biggest fan.
It's fun. I try to make it fun. You know, it's a red carpet,
She's
but
the best.
You're a pro. No, after like you are.
Interview you at home.
All the time.
She is the red carpet.
You know, it's.
I interview them all the
Absolutely.
time. But you know, it's been wonderful. So I stepped back for 3 years from E! News to go to Chicago, where Bill's from, and where we have a home, and
a
that was
restaurant.
kind of a restaurant.
Several, which
that was
I
all- do you
love
like
to visit when I go to
restaurants?
Chicago.
really?
Yes, they're amazing. Yeah.
I'm in
Thank
DC
you.
too. Just.
Oh, that's awesome.
Shout out.
That's where I'm from.
So yeah, so RPM. So we're really focusing on that, and also I wanted to focus on growing some other businesses I was working on. Like I just launched a skincare line, a clean skincare line. So it was just a perfect time to kind of take a step back, really be able to spend more time with my family, have my son start school. And then 3 years later, it just felt like the right time. And Jason Kennedy, who's the co-host of E! News, is one of my dearest friends and our dearest friends. We vacation together. Like, we're just like,
Yeah, you do look a little like JK.
Oh, that's a compliment.
Oh, me and Jason?
All three of you look alike,
Really?
I think. I don't
That's
know.
a big compliment.
there we
He's
go.
like my little brother.
Hey, if he needs a sub one day, I'm happy
There,
to.
no problem.
I'm happy to
Okay,
go
I'll
to
put it
LA
recorded.
this week.
Absolutely. He's like, I'll go tomorrow.
We do
Bye,
treat him
guys.
like a little brother. Like he bought a fancy car recently. I called him up. I said, dude, what are you doing? Save money. Like he's like, you know, I had to chew him out. Like you're spending how much a month?
Don't give some financial advice. No, but you know, he really is. We're so close. Like we can talk about anything, even that. But we travel together. We've taken so many vacations together as couples. His wife's
she
lovely,
is a rock
Lauren, is
star.
incredible. So they're just really good people, good couple. That was actually a huge driving force in terms of going back, was being able to work alongside one of my best friends, and also just everyone at E! You know, I mean, from 3 years ago, it's most the same producers and writers and behind the scenes people. All of us, you know, they're all still there, and so to be able to go back and be
family.
together as a family, as a work family, is incredible.
Favorite red carpet interview
Oh, geez,
of all time?
there have been so many.
Such a hard question.
That is a hard question. I would have
That's
to say
why I asked the hard questions, guys.
it probably involves George Clooney.
What about Lady Gaga?
Oh, I do love Lady Gaga.
Lady Gaga,
too.
who eats at our restaurant all the time.
Yeah.
Maybe
Big
sat
compliment.
down at dinner with her one night.
Yeah,
Sit down.
No, I love how you said that. Yes.
Twist my arm.
But
She's
she
very cool, by
is
the way.
incredible. Yeah, I actually interviewed her recently, and she's so lovely, and like really makes you feel like you're the only person there, you know? And so yeah, since the first time I interviewed her, I'd have to say Lady Gaga is definitely one of my top favorite people to interview. And George Clooney.
both of them are
George
the
Clooney on the red carpet.
The quick
You've been
Lady
very
Gaga
vocal
story.
about your love for George Clooney.
I've been very vocal.
Like, even I know that. I was like, she loves George Clooney.
I know. You know what it is? I'll tell you. He's one of the biggest, you know, through the years that I've been on E! I mean, he's really one of the biggest stars in the world.
Right.
And what I love about him, and I noticed it from the very first time I interviewed him, he walks in the room, and before the cameras turn on or before anything, he goes up to every single person, introduces himself. How are you? Where are you from? He's just a lovely human being, and
That's
I just
what she
think
tells
that
Bill she loves him.
exactly.
And he makes a great tequila.
Yeah,
There we go.
Casamigos
Casamigos tequila. We love the Casamigos. So he's just, I really, that goes a long way with me. I just love like authentic, nice people, you know? And so, yeah, I love interviewing him.
Yeah, and you two created an app called PEAR, which is for parents. It's a judgment-free zone for them to give advice and get advice.
That's right.
That's so cool. Can you
Yeah.
tell us more about that?
Go ahead.
No, you go. I talk a lot.
It's called
No, please go ahead.
It's called PEAR, P-E-A-R, and it's really a place we have 6 or 7 different experts. We have a child psychologist, we have a child nutritionist, fashion expert, Lonnie Paul, who's a designer who helps design nurseries. There's a forum where it's judgment-free. You can ask advice, you can give advice, and you know we don't allow any haters or any of some of the things that happen in some of these forums that happen. So we really are proud of it. We created it out of necessity because we had so many questions when we were raising Duke, and we said, well, let's create a safe place for people to go, nice. And it's doing really well. We're 4 or 5 months into this?
Yeah, we just launched it a little while ago, and yeah, it's been going on. It's for parents of kids of all ages, which is nice too, because I think there are a lot of resources for little kids, but it's nice. A lot of people write in about teenagers, you know, and they're
Juuling, new thing now.
yeah, the Julie.
Wow.
Yeah, and so you know, Dr. John Duffy, who's our clinical psychologist,
Put it away.
he's very. You know, he's kind of his expertise is teenagers, and so he just has incredible information. So we're also, we've done a few podcasts, but we really want to build that out a little bit more, do more of those, and just be a resource for parents.
We have great experts. I mean, Dr. Duffy is off the charts. Like, he gives parents such great advice. He gives us great advice.
Great advice.
So that's one of the perks. He works on
Yeah,
PEAR.
exactly.
We can like call him and say, hey, you know, can you help us with this? Yeah.
We'll do like a podcast with him, and I'm like, thank you for joining us, Dr. Duffy. I'm like, don't go anywhere.
Our legal pad out again for all the questions.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Speaking of Duke, I hear you have a Halloween story.
Oh my gosh, yes. Duke is, he's 6 years old. And is he walking around right now in New York as a mummy?
He's a mummy. He's on he travels with us a lot, and when he goes on the road with us, we make him do like scavenger hunts. So today he has to go to the Statue of Liberty, he has to go to the top of the Empire State Building, he has to go to the MoMA, he has to take pictures. Long story short, he loves aviation. So for his 6th birthday, he wanted a cake that was Emirates and Etihad Airlines, right? So the folks at Emirates saw this because it was on social media. They sent him a full-blown Emirates captain's
It's the cutest.
outfit,
Oh
hat,
my God.
the bars. So
The tie,
he wants to be an Emirates A380, not just any plane, an A380 captain.
But he wants to be that, but he has like 6 different costumes he wants to do, which I love. I appreciate as someone who loves red carpets and award shows and
We love
changes.
Halloween.
There you go. So it's just really cute because he's like every day a new outfit is added to the repertoire, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna need like a van trick or treating that has like all of our wardrobe changes. I'm like, this is like becoming a huge production.
It's the Oscars.
I know. It's so cute. But I love a good, like exactly at the Oscars, I like to change my dresses. So yeah, maybe my son got that from me doing the wardrobe changes, you know, so I love it.
Well, I look forward to seeing which one he lands on.
There we
They're
go.
all great ideas.
Thank you.
Bill and Juliana, thank you so much for joining us.
Such a great show.